Listen to me very carefully. What I'm about to tell you is going to change the way you think about money forever. I don't care if you have $10,000 or $10 million. I don't care if you're 25 years old or 65 years old. The truth is, most people have absolutely no idea how to make their money work for them. They think passive income is a myth. They think you need millions to generate real cash flow. They think the system is rigged against them. That is a lie. I've spent 35 years in global macro investing. I ran hedge fund sales at Goldman Sachs. I managed portfolios at GLG Partners. I retired at 36. I've built Real Vision into a global financial media company, and I can tell you with absolute certainty, the wealthy don't work for money, they make money work for them, today. I'm going to show you exactly how to take a single lump sum $10,000 and turn it into a passive income machine that pays you month after month, year after year. 5 steps, no complicated formulas, no get-rich-quick nonsense, just the framework I've used and taught for decades. Before we get into the mechanics, subscribe to this channel. The information I'm about to give you is worth more than any expensive seminar or financial advisor consultation. This is where I share the unfiltered truth about building wealth in the real world. Let's begin. The problem most people don't understand. Let me ask you a question. Do you have $10,000 sitting in a bank account right now? Maybe it's in savings, maybe it's in checking, maybe you received a bonus, an inheritance, or you finally scraped it together after years of discipline. If you do, I have bad news for you. That money is dying. In a typical savings account, you're earning maybe 0.01% to 1% interest. Even in a high-yield savings account, you're earning for 5. Meanwhile, there's something I call the 11% hurdle rate. Here's what most people don't understand. Inflation, the measured kind, runs about 3%, but that's not the real story. Governments around the world are running massive debts. To service that debt, they print money. They call it quantitative easing or liquidity injections, but what it really means is currency debasement. Your money is losing purchasing power against scarce assets at about 8% per year. Add that to measured inflation, and you get 11% per year, the hidden tax on your wealth that nobody tells you about. So if your $10,000 is sitting in a bank account earning 1, you're not breaking even, you're getting 10% poorer every single year. The bank is using your money to get rich, and you're paying them for the privilege. The story of David. From broke to free. Let me tell you about someone I know. His name is David. He was an engineer, made a good salary, about $120,000 a year, but he was terrified of investing. His parents lost money in 2008, and he swore he would never touch the stock market. He kept everything in cash. By age 55, he had accumulated $200,000 in savings. He thought he was rich. He wasn't. He was broke. When I met him, I asked him one question. David, how much passive income does your $200,000 generate? He said, about $200 a year. I said, David, that's not income. That's a tip. We restructured his entire portfolio using the framework I'm about to teach you. Today, that same $200,000 generates over $18,000 a year in passive income. Not from working, not from trading, just from owning the right assets. He's retired. He travels. He lives off his money instead of living off his paycheck. David is not special. He didn't have a secret strategy. He didn't take insane risks. He just learned the 5 steps I'm about to teach you. The foundation, understanding real returns. Here's the truth nobody wants to tell you. Passive income is not about luck. It's not about timing the market. It's not about picking the next Amazon. It's about structure, and structure is what we're going to build today. But first, you need to understand something I call the everything code. The everything code is simple. Liquidity drives all asset prices. When governments print money, asset prices rise. When they remove liquidity, asset prices fall. This is why traditional investments, the ones most financial advisors recommend, no longer work for the average person. The S&P 500 returns about 10-11 annually. Sounds good, right? Wrong. If currency debasement is running at 8% and measured inflation is 3%, you need 11% just to break even. The S&P 500 barely gets you there, and that's before taxes and fees. Real estate? Houses used to cost 3.5x annual salary. Now they cost 8-10x. Most people will spend their entire working lives paying interest on a mortgage. Gold? Returns about 6% per year, doesn't beat the hurdle rate. This is why I've spent the last decade focused on assets that can dramatically outperform assets that can actually make a difference in your life within a reasonable time frame. Let me show you how to structure $10,000 to do exactly that. Step 1. Build your fortress before you invest a single dollar. This is the rule that separates the wealthy from the broke. Before you invest anything for income or growth, you must build what I call your fortress. The fortress is your emergency fund. This is non-negotiable. If you invest your $10,000 and lose your job next week, you will be forced to sell your investments at the worst possible time. That's not passive income. that's financial suicide. Your fortress must be 3 to 6 months of living expenses held in a high-yield savings account or money market fund, not the stock market, not crypto, cash. For most people, this means your $10,000 might not be ready to invest yet. If you don't have your fortress, your first step is to build it. I don't care if you earn for -5 on that cash. It's not there to make you rich, it's there to keep you from going broke. Here's my rule: fortress first, always. Only after your fortress is built should you deploy capital for growth and income. Step 2. Understand the two games. Most people think there's one game in investing: buy low, sell high. That's not how the wealthy think. The wealthy understand there are two games. Game 1, traditional assets. This is stocks, bonds, real estate. The assets your financial advisor recommends. These assets return roughly 6–11 per year. They keep pace with or slightly exceed currency debasement. They're not bad, they're just not enough to change your life. Game 2, exponential assets. This is where things get interesting. Certain assets, particularly in the technology and digital asset space, are growing at rates that dramatically outperform traditional investments. Bitcoin, for example, has returned approximately 145% per year since 2011, despite multiple 80% drawdowns. Solana has returned approximately 250% per year since inception. These are not normal returns, these are exponential returns, and they exist because we're living through the greatest technological transformation in human history. I call this the exponential age. AI, blockchain, tokenization. These technologies are converging to create entirely new asset classes that most investors don't understand. The smart money, the hedge funds, the family offices, the sovereign wealth funds, they're positioning for this transition. Most retail investors, they're still buying index funds and hoping for 10% returns. Here's the truth: you need exposure to both games. Traditional assets for stability, exponential assets for growth, and that's exactly how we're going to structure your $10,000. Step 3. The passive income framework. Allocate for your time horizon. Now let's get practical. How you allocate your $10,000 depends entirely on one thing: your time horizon. Are you 25 and building wealth for the next 40 years? Or are you 55 and need income now? Let me give you 3 scenarios. Scenario A, the long-term builder under 45. If you're under 45, you don't need income today. You need growth. Your job is to plant seeds that will become a forest in 20 to 30 years. Here's how I would allocate $10,000 for a long-term builder. 60% exponential assets, $6,000 Bitcoin, $3,000 Ethereum or Solana, $2,000 SUI or other high-conviction L1, $1,000 30% traditional growth, $3,000 Nasdaq 100 ETF QQ, $3,000. 10% learning allocation, $1,000. This is your dig and bag small positions in emerging projects where you learn by doing. Why this allocation? Because exponential assets, when held long-term, have the potential to dramatically outperform, and you have time to ride out the volatility. Bitcoin has experienced multiple 80% drawdowns. If you panic and sell during those drawdowns, you lose. If you hold through them, you've historically been rewarded. The key is time horizon and position sizing. If you invest what you can afford to lose and hold for 5 to 10 years, the probabilities are heavily in your favor. Scenario B, the middle builder, 45–55. If you're in this range, you need a balance of growth and stability. 40% exponential assets, $4,000 Bitcoin, $2,500 Ethereum or Solana, $1,500. 40% traditional growth, $4,000 Nasdaq 100 ETF QQ, $2,000 S&P 500 ETFU, $2,000. 20% income layer, $2,000 dividend ETF SHOD or VIM, $2,000. This gives you exposure to exponential upside while building an income foundation. As your exponential assets grow, you periodically harvest gains and move them into your income layer. Scenario C, the income seeker, 55+. If you need income now, we allocate differently. 20% exponential assets, $2,000 Bitcoin only, $2,000 most stable of the exponential assets, 40% dividend growth, $4,000 SHOD Schwab dividend ETF, $2,000 VIM Vanguard high dividend, $2,000. 30% income ETFs, $3,000 JEPI covered call ETF, $2,000 preferred stock ETF, $1,000 10% bond or stability, $1,000 BN total bond market, $1,000. This portfolio yields approximately 5–7 annually. That's $5,00700 per year in passive income from $10,000. Is that life-changing? No, but here's the secret: you don't stop at $10,000. This is the foundation. Every month, you add more. You reinvest the dividends, you let compound interest do its work, and over time, the income layer grows while your exponential assets provide the upside that can truly change your trajectory. Step 4, the DTFU Framework. Don't FCAC this up, this is the most important step. I've seen thousands of people try to build wealth. The ones who succeed are not the ones with the highest IQs. They're not the ones who picked the winning investments. They're the ones who didn't FCAC it up. I call this the DTFU Framework. Here's what it means. Rule 1. Never use leverage when you borrow money to invest. You're amplifying both gains and losses. In crypto, leverage is the #1 wealth destroyer. I've seen people make fortunes, then lose everything because they got greedy and used leverage. If you invest $10,000 without leverage and the market drops 50%, you still have $5,000. You can wait, you can recover. If you use 3x leverage and the market drops 33%, you're wiped out. Game over. Never use leverage, ever. Rule 2. Don't concentrate on quality when everyone is talking about the latest meme coin or hot stock. That's usually the worst time to buy. I allocate 80-90 of my crypto portfolio to major assets: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Sui, the established protocols with real users, real developers, and real network effects. The remaining 10% is my dig and bag small positions in higher risk opportunities where I'm okay losing everything. This is the minimal regret portfolio approach. If I'm wrong about a small speculative position, I lose 10%. It's tings, but I survive. If I'm wrong about a concentrated bet with my entire portfolio, I'm finished. Rule 3. Set it and forget it. Here's the biggest mistake I see. People check their portfolios every single day. The market goes down 3%. They panic, they sell, they lock in their losses. Then the market recovers and they buy back at a higher price. This is not investing. This is gambling. Compound interest requires one thing: time. If you invest $10,000 at age 25 and earn 15% annually achievable with the right allocation, here's what you have at age 65, over $2.6 million. You didn't do anything. You didn't trade. You didn't time the market. You just waited. That is passive income. Your money worked for 40 years while you slept. Rule 4. Automate everything. If you rely on willpower, you will fail. I don't care how motivated you are right now. In 6 months, something shiny will appear. A new car, a vacation, an emergency. This is why you must automate. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your investment accounts every single month. The same day, the same amount. Make the money disappear before you have a chance to spend it. Pay yourself first, not your landlord, not your car payment, not your credit card company. Rule 5. Ignore the noise. Do not watch CNBC. Do not read daily market commentary. Do not follow Twitter influencers telling you to buy or sell. Check your investments once per quarter. That's it. The market is chaotic in the short term. In the long term, it goes up, especially if you own scarce assets in an age of infinite money printing. Do not let short-term noise destroy your long-term wealth. Step 5. The compounding machine layer and grow. Here's where the magic happens. The passive income machine is not a single investment, it's a system. Here's how the system works. Phase 1. Accumulation. In the early years, you're planting seeds. Your exponential assets, Bitcoin, Solana, etc., are growing. Your growth ETFs are compounding. Your income layer is small but growing. You reinvest every dividend. You add money every month. You don't touch anything. Phase 2. Harvesting. As your exponential assets grow, you periodically harvest gains. Maybe Bitcoin doubles. You take 20% of that gain and move it into your income layer dividend stocks, income ETFs. Your income layer grows larger. Your passive income increases. Phase 3. Living off the machine. Eventually, your income layer generates enough cash flow to cover your expenses. At this point, you're financially free. Your money works for you. You work because you want to, not because you have to. This is the goal. This is what the wealthy understand. The machine takes years to build. But once it's built, it runs forever. The math, real numbers. Let me show you exactly what this looks like. Starting point. $10,000 monthly contribution. $300 time horizon. 20 years. Conservative scenario, 10% annual return. Final value, $268,000 annual passive income at 5% yield. 13400 year. Moderate scenario, 15% annual return. Final value, $581,000 annual passive income at 5% yield. 29000 year. Aggressive scenario, 20% annual return achievable with exponential assets. Final value, $1,260,000 annual passive income at 5% yield. 63000 year. Same starting point, same monthly contribution. Dramatically different outcomes. The difference is allocation. The difference is understanding which assets can actually beat the 11% hurdle rate. The mindset shift. From consumer to owner. Here's the deepest change that happens when you build a passive income machine. You stop being a consumer and start being an owner. Consumers exchange their time for money, then exchange their money for stuff. Owners exchange their time for money, then use their money to buy assets that generate more money. This is the fundamental difference between people who build wealth and people who don't. When you own Bitcoin, you own a piece of the hardest money ever. Created a network growing at 145% per year. When you own quality stocks, you own pieces of businesses that employ people, build products, generate profits. Those businesses work for you 24/7 while you sleep. That mental shift from trading time for stuff to owning assets that work for you is worth more than any specific investment strategy. The action plan. What to do today? Let me give you the exact steps to take. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today, step 1. Verify your fortress. Do you have 3 months of living expenses in cash? If not, your $10,000 is not an investment, it's your emergency fund. Put it in a high-yield savings account earning for 5. Step 2. Choose your scenario based on your age and time horizon. Pick the allocation that fits. Under 45, heavy exponential, light income 45 minus 55, balanced 55 plus, heavy income, light exponential. Step 3, open your accounts for stocks or ETFs, Vanguard, Fidelity or Schwab, pick one, they're all fine. For crypto, Coinbase, Kraken or a self-custody wallet if you're more advanced. Step 4, execute the allocation. Buy the assets, don't overthink it, don't try to time it. If you're nervous, split it. Invest 50% today, 25% next month, 25% the month after. Step 5. Automate monthly contributions. Set up recurring buys, even 50 month, even 100 month. Consistency beats intensity every single time. Step 6. Set your review schedule. First Monday of January, April, July, October. That's when you check. The rest of the time, live your life.